Greetings, and welcome to When the Moment Chooses You. I am your host, Coach Charlene. And oh my goodness, I have the one and only Dr. Jeanette Moreno in the house. Welcome.
Oh, oh my God. We started with laughter. We're gonna
Yes, we
have we're
did.
gonna have fun today, Charlene.
Yes, we're going to have so much fun. Now, okay. So normally I start out by talking about why I started this podcast, but I think you've watched it enough to know that really I believe that there's moments that choose us to disrupt, to transform, to do whatever it is that we have been destined to do. But for the last month, I decided to do something on caring science, the impact. And caring science has absolutely impacted my life in so many ways that I've talked throughout the program about. So, Jeanette, before we start jumping into it, I really would just love to know who you are first. First of all, let me just say this. Now, at least four people have told me that you have to meet Jeanette. You
Oh,
have to meet Jeanette. So, that speaks volumes to me. And they were like, she would be an amazing guest. And what was so significant about this, Jeanette, is that I love people's brand. And so your brand is what people say about you when you're not present. And so I'm just saying, girl, you have a good brand because everybody was talking about how authentic and how powerful that you are. So welcome again. So tell us who you are.
my goodness, Coach Charlene. And I think, just reflecting on those, and thank you. First, I want to thank you for this opportunity to be part of your podcast, When the Moment Chooses You. I've been watching you. I've been really listening to a lot of your podcasts. It inspires me. It gives me that spark and joy and just energy to just, yes, we're going to do this again every
Yes.
day, right?
That's awesome.
The four or five people who have connected me to you, it's because I think they saw something that is just in common between the both of us. We
Yes.
are Caritas Soul Sisters.
Yes, we are.
And my God, this is the moment that I'm able to get to be in your presence and really be able to share both of our energy of love, joy, and kindness, to
Yes.
humanity.
Amen.
Who am I as a person and as a professional? As a person, I love life. I love my family. I grew up in a family of 10. I grew up in the Philippines and migrated to the US in 2002. I met my husband, who is an emergency room nurse, in 2004, and by 2006, we're married. Attended by ICU and ER nurses because I'm an ICU nurse and he's an ER nurse, and they said you cannot mix both and blend together, but we did. In a beautiful household, and we have a 16-year-old beautiful, beautiful daughter whom we are so proud of. She's amazing. She's the future generation leader, and we're just so proud of her. I love being a mom, and I love being a Caritas leader. Um, that's me as a person, Charlene, and I know that we're Caritas Soul Sisters. We haven't met each other in person. We probably did, but I think this is just the right time and the right moment for us to be, doing wonderful things together.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you because I really don't believe that there's any accidents or coincidences. So I think this is the moment and this is the time. And the work that you're doing, Jeanette, is so profound. I would like to unpack a little bit more about who you are because there were some, for me in my career, there were some sobering moments that I've experienced. So the reason that I actually started this podcast was because in 2020, with the murder of George Floyd, something happened on the inside of me that kind of took me to this dark place for a period of time. And so after I went into prayer, because I'm a woman of faith, I went into prayer And then I heard a voice say that what you do in this moment will determine your destiny and dictate your future. And so I knew at that moment, Jeanette, that I had to move from discouragement, hurt, trauma to action and impact. And so that's when the I think the baby was born for when the moment chooses you. Because I believe that there's moments in our lives that really call us to do something significant. I found my voice and I was able to begin to start speaking from a healed place so that I can help transform those that were around me. And so I would love to know any type of moments that you have had in your career that you would be willing to share with us.
Such a beautiful story, and thank you for sharing that with me. And when the moment chooses you is such a beautiful theme and title for your podcasts, because those are what we call defining moments, right, in our
Yes.
lives that truly gives a aha moment of elevation and then insights and allowing us to pause and step back and really reflect and take pride, just like what you did. Take pride of what we're doing and just keep on sharing it to the community. And I've had one of those moments back in 2016. I was a program manager then at Stanford. I was given multiple roles. I was overseeing policy procedures. I was overseeing professional governance and shared governance. And I was also a simulation specialist and anything and everything that the CNO wants me to do. Just that's part of my job description.
Yes.
Like any Filipino nurse, I grew up in a culture of just hard work, hard work, hard work, and service to others. And that's what we pride ourselves on. Just work, 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 work.
Yes.
When I was tasked, and I call it a task, the doing part of it, to integrate caring science into our shared governance, I said, oh, that's easy. I can do it. I'm a great program manager.
Mm.
So off I went to Boulder and said, just give me the facts. Just 1 and 2 days, and I'm good. Oh my God, Charlene. And you have been on that transformative journey.
Yes.
After 2 days, I realized, oh my God, I need a project. And the project really that I have to work on is myself.
That's good.
Yes, I said, be integrating it into our professional governance or shared governance is really secondary. And I have to come to terms with that because it's always has been the other people, the organization, the community, and what we can give to others. Part of my reflection on those first 2 days that I know that this is the moment and I have to really open my heart to it. Dr. Jan Anderson was the Caring Science Program Director at that time. And we have to submit reflective journals.
Yes.
And my 2 or 3 submissions were a fail. She was like, you can do better than this. You have to go deeper and deeper and deeper. I was like, no, Jen, I've cried so much. It's so hard. It's so painful inside. What more can I give?
Yeah.
And that's when I discovered aesthetics and that I'm able to share and unpack deeper feelings through poetry. So, le- if you may allow me, I want to read the poem that I wrote 2 days after the Caritas Coach education program in Boulder.
Oh, absolutely.
The title is How Can I Help? Who am I and how'd I get here? I questioned my purpose. I ponder with fear. I clearly thought I know why I got here. I have a plan. I have no fear. I'm here to fulfill the need of everyone, my peers, my leaders, all my loved ones. I knew caring science is what everyone needs to fill the missing gap in the care that we give. I knew self care is priority to achieve healing of society. I was very clear, I was purposeful. I'd come to Boulder and head back with a cap full. But alas, it clearly didn't turn out that way. Didn't realize there's more. I was blown away. I didn't realize I had to start somewhere, somewhere within me and not elsewhere. I was so drained and so exhausted. I had to start with me. Where else would I be? How can I give my best? I am in pain. How can it be? For days it dawned on me. I am in pain. How can it be? I thought I was strong. I am resilient. I grew up tough, brave, and experienced. To the stars, through all difficulties. Words from my father echo in resilience. As difficult as it may be, I have to reach the stars and be free. I
Hmm.
cannot fail him and my mother. I have to win, and winning it will be. I thought I was destined to help everyone, and that's how it should be. I didn't know I need help. I don't think so. I do. But I journeyed back home thinking, I need help too.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is just gonna breathe that in. Anybody that listened to that, just take that in. That was so powerful, Jeanette.
Thank you.
It really was. And okay, that came from the deep, deep bowels of your spirit. And it was so beautiful. And so you found during your journey that you were able to pull these types of thing up out of you.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
and you know what? It starts with me. Let's just camp out there for a little bit because caring science really allows us to explore who we are. I thought I knew who I was.
Yeah,
But when you go through that process for 6 months, you really get to know who you are. And to be honest, I found that I was like amazing and that I had so many giftings that I'm supposed to give to humanity. So, talk to me a little bit more about that because that's a struggle, Jeanette, sometimes with people knowing that it has to start with them. It's easy to do it, to do. It's easy to talk about other people. But when we turn it back around to ourselves, talk to us about that a little bit more if you can.
sure. Thanks, Charlene. I have never shared my poetry, especially the ones that I submitted during our CCEP program, our Caritas Coach education program, because it was so deep.
Yeah.
It was so meaningful. It's so hard to unpack. But then through that journey of that 6 month intensive and until now, I've learned to just open up my heart of who I am as a person, the amazing you, as you said, the amazing me. I never thought I had anything unique
Yeah.
that I can offer except the service that
Yes.
I do to others. And I hope and pray prior that people will tap me in the shoulder to say, you're doing amazing. Oh, thank you for that validation. I hope and pray for that. We always do. But then here's the story is through that journey, I have unpacked and discovered my core values.
Hmm.
Who am I as a person? And why
Yes.
am I here? And how did I journey? How did I get here?
Yes.
I grew up in poverty, in the Philippines. My dad didn't finish elementary. He was so dirt poor, he could not finish only up to fifth grade in elementary. My mom didn't finish college, graduated in high school wanting to be a nurse. Coming from a family of 10,
Yeah.
and there are five girls, my mom has always wanted to be a nurse. I'm the baby among the girls. She asks sister number one, two, three, four. They don't want to be a nurse. And I cannot say no. I'm the last girl, and I cannot break my mom's heart. And sure, okay, it was not my first choice, but up to this day, every day, I never fail
Mm,
to thank her for
wow.
encouraging me to be one.
Yes.
What I have uncovered in this journey of finding myself, my self worth, the amazing me and the amazing you, Charlene, that you found, my core values of professionalism, excellence, and courage came from who I am as a person and the values that my parents have instilled in me.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has always said, to the stars through all difficulties. The only way out of poverty and for you to excel is through education, education, education. And second thing is by always looking from behind of where you came from and
Yes.
thank the Lord and the powers to be for where you are at now. Our core values is very important for us to find ourselves, because these core values at the lowest peak of our lives, when we are failing and we feel like I don't know what to do, I am failing, those core values of professionalism, courage, and excellence is the one that's going to pull you up.
Yes.
Brush yourself off and say, we're going to do this because you have that within you. And at the time of celebration, those core values are the reasons why you are on top of that celebration. And through my journey as a Caritas coach, I've added a core value of joy.
Yes.
Just the joy of the intent that we are there as nurse leaders, for the others. But you said something earlier, Shirley, that resonated to me and to both of us, that leadership starts from within. It starts with
Yes.
you, but at the end of the day, it's not about you.
Yep. Very, very, that is so delicious because because sometimes people take it in the wrong way when they say that it's not about you, but it really is about you. Because if I have a wounded, traumatized healthcare professional taking care of a person, they are not going to be their best self for that patient at all. And
Mhm.
so my success has everything to do with me saying that, Charlene, you are going to be the highest expression of yourself. You're going to learn how to love beyond the judgment. You're going to learn how to love beyond the negative talk, the negative chatter that you hear. You love beyond it. You're going to carry peace everywhere that you go. You see what I'm saying? All of that took me focusing on me. So, yes, although it's not really about us, I love how you said that, Jeanette. So, say that for me one more time.
Just say, that just say that leadership starts with you,
Yes.
but it's not about you. And Kay Kennedy, Lucy Leclerc, and Susan Campus wrote the book Human Centered Leadership, and
Yes.
that is their mantra.
Yes.
In the culture of excellence, in the culture of caring, is all embedded. So, as a leader, we have to start from within. And the journey, we look so far with the journey, but really it starts from within, that we have to
Absolutely.
journey.
Yeah, and you know what I think about, Jeanette? I think about like all of the different environments that we all are in. And if you are a leader, you're carrying you, introducing you to everybody. And so that was like one of the big things that I did. And I did it for probably ever since I started doing caring science. And every day my mantra would be, and I would lock this into my heart, I walk in undisturbed composure.
Wow.
because I knew that I was going to be disturbed. As soon as I looked at my phone, I was disturbed. And so I had to start saying, I declare that I walk in undisturbed composure. And oh my God, I locked that into my heart, did some breathing techniques. And so when I got to work, I had a shield around me that although the darts were coming, they were bouncing off of me because I decided that I was going to carry this peace, this environment, and it really started shifting my atmosphere as a leader. So I walked into chaos, and before I left the environment, the chaos had to flee because my presence radiated peace. And I was not willing to allow the environment to dictate how I was going to feel. So I wanted to be the one that dictated how this environment was going to behave around me because we carry that healing presence, right? So,
That
so
is so
powerful.
beautiful. Oh my God, we are such Caritas soul sisters. I have been asked before when, because I have integrated caring science, systematically in health systems, both at Stanford and at Cedar Sinai. And the question always is, what does this mean, Jeanette? What does caring science mean? Does it mean that um, mindful meditation is just avoiding the chaos around you? I said,
You're
no.
right.
It means how can you be the calm
Yes.
amidst the chaos around you? And that's the
Yes.
challenge. What you're describing is that, that we are responsible for the energy that we bring into the field, that we bring into the environment. And I love how you describe it, Charlene, how it's just like, there, you're just like a shield around me.
Oh, yeah.
I walk.
I'm like, you're not going to disturb me today. I am going to be my true, authentic self because when I went into leadership, I noticed that there were like, I call them darts, but just a lot of negative things that were starting to transpire to try to get me to be out of character. Because they were like, well, first of all, she smiles too much. She can't be that happy. And, all of that, that's what they were trying to test. And so I had to make sure that, because, in heart math, it says that resilience is the ability, the capacity to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of adversity. So my prep was I'm going to make sure that I'm going to pray and I'm going to do my mantra. I'm going to lock that into my heart so that when I feel myself spiraling out of control because of all of the things that are happening, I'm going to breathe deeply and bring that undisturbed composure back up so that I can get back to my baseline because that will be my baseline. And I'm telling you, I've done that for the whole 14 after a leader, 14 years as a leader, and it has really changed
My
atmospheres and also people because I'm able to shift a person that's angry to have them come down so that they can really think and do the right thing. So yeah, that is so powerful what you're talking about, Jeanette. We are totally sisters for real.
picture. Okay, so do me a favor. I don't know if you follow me on LinkedIn because I know you do. I
Yes.
have embraced and called myself the CEO, the Chief Enthusiastic Officer.
I love
And
it.
I think you need to call yourself CCO, the Chief Calmness Officer.
Oh, I like
Because
that.
I,
Let me write that down.
because I think you have that. It's just natural for you.
Yeah, it's so funny because if you go to my unit and you ask anybody what would describe Charlene, and I guarantee you they would say love and peace because those
Yeah.
are my two that I lock in and I have to when you leave my presence, you have to feel love
Oh my goodness,
and you
that's so
have to feel
amazing.
peaceful, more peaceful. But that's the work. That's why you were
Yeah.
talking about leadership. It starts with me, it starts within.
Right.
So I had to do the work to get myself like that. I did
That's
not
right.
wake up like that, right? We don't.
Yes.
We have to get rid of the baggage. We have to go through I had to work through trauma. I had to
True.
work through all of the stuff that we deal with from our past, but I learned from my past, and so I allowed my past, my history, to really catapult me to where I am today. To use it as leverage, like an eagle does when he flies into the wind. I just fly above the storm now. I allow that momentum to cause me to fly above that storm.
That is so beautiful. I also wanted to tell your audience that I am not perfect.
Yeah,
We have our moments. As what you have said,
absolutely.
a lot of our previous, experiences have shaped us who we are.
Yeah.
Prior to me being a Caritas coach, I was so hard on myself.
Hmm. Yeah.
I was such a perfectionist. I have a lot of commitment and passion for what I do and for the nursing profession. And that is still holds true. I still pride myself of all of the details and the organization that I have, being a successful leader.
Hmm.
I actually consider myself as really great at crisis management, right?
Awesome. Hmm.
And however, the authenticity that we have sometimes overwhelms other people.
Yes. It's so true.
We bring our whole selves into the environment and people don't know how to handle it.
Yep.
I bring my whole self to the environment and I am committed to to excellence because that's my core values.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard for those around us. But the
Hmm.
thing with me, as I say, I'm not perfect, is I'm able to pull myself and pause and self reflect. Okay, Jeanette, you're being too much.
Yes.
You are overwhelming other people. And I'm able to pull myself back and take the courage to come and say, this is the reason XYZ why we need to achieve things, for the benefit of our patients and the organization. And let's talk about this and let's explore.
Yeah.
And you get to be owning, you know, that responsibility and owning. And if it has to come to apology and owning that
Yeah,
and be able
absolutely.
to provide the expectation, right? Of why we're here in the first place, trying to
Yeah.
accomplish goals. Um, so the authenticity, a lot of times, is something that if we're not aligned with others around us, it's difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with you there. I love how you said, we're not perfect because especially when you're being the light in institutional darkness. A lot of times, I thought about this one time in particular as you were talking, and I'm going in, like I said, with my undisturbed composure. So when I go in and I greet the staff, I always say, "Good morning, everyone. You're loved and appreciated." That's just something I've been doing for multiple years. And so one morning, Jeanette, I don't know what I had experienced. It was something that had happened, and as I was going, I just went and I was doing my love rounds like I normally do, but I was not me. And so about five of my nurses, they all were like, "Charlene, are you okay?" And they all surrounded me, Jeanette, and they just like put their hand on me and they just was breathing heart into me and I like was bawling.
That is so beautiful.
It was because they recognized that my energy field was very low. And so just them doing
Beautiful.
that simple act of telling me that I was loved and appreciated and just doing what I had been demonstrating for so many years, it meant like the world to me because we're not perfect. We go through stuff. We carry the weight
That is
of a
so true.
lot of stuff on our shoulders sometimes, and we can't even talk about it. So that kind gesture just really reset me back to where I'm supposed to be. And so that's what I love. I love that we can be both amazing. And someone
Mhm.
said it perfectly. I am a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time.
Progress, not perfection.
Yes.
But what you've shared with me, Charlene, is just telling about the kind of person you are, the chief calmness officer that you are, because you have actually extended within that environment that you are open and you give permission for people. You give permission for them to allow you for that vulnerability.
Yeah,
The the
absolutely.
the the hardest thing, and I'm still working on it, as a chief enthusiastic officer, how can I tone down my enthusiasm to allow people to say, Jeanette, it's okay. The third days, you don't have to be enthusiastic. It's okay. How can I let people, and as I said, I'm still a work in progress, as you said. And again, I say progress, not perfection, to
Yes.
allow them that, Jeanette, it's okay. It's okay that you're not bringing the enthusiasm today. It's okay.
That's so good because are you okay with it? You know,
Yeah.
are you okay with it? And that's like the work that we have that we do because I mean, this just takes me back to really when you read your poem, your aesthetic expression, it really hit because I was at another spot, Jeanette, and it was post 2020, and I was tired. I was exhausted. And what I recognized, I sat on a healing circle and I literally cried like a baby. I
Mhm.
turned my screen off and it just started pouring out. And what I recognized, Jeanette, is that I was doing every time something happened, guess what? Charlene stepped up to the plate. And then Charlene stepped up to the plate again. And then she did it again. And she kept doing that for years and came to find out that I was not being true to me. I was
Mm.
doing everything everyone else wanted me to do. And
Right.
yeah, and I did not, I lost me. And so that's why that quote that I always share with people, you don't die when your heart stops beating, you die when your heartbeats have no meaning. I had to
Oh,
find joy again. I
yeah.
had to find meaning again because I forgot about me. See, it starts with us and it has to stay about us so that we can continue doing the work that we do.
So
So,
true.
yeah, so your poem just really elicited that because, and then just what you're talking about, how you were doing everything, whatever anybody wanted you to do. And for me, that became very exhausting for me
Yes.
because I start losing that heartbeat, that purpose, that meaning. I'm like, oh my God, this is like becoming a rat race. And I'm not loving this. I'm not loving this at all. So I committed in 2021 to only do things that align with my heart. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm doing things that I love doing. That's why I started the podcast. That's why I love caring science. That's why I love heart math. That's why I love inspiring the people, the nurses that do the work, the physicians that do the work, the support team that does the work. That is like my heart of what I want to impact as I transition out of my position. I'm looking forward to just touching lives in a different type of way.
It is so beautiful, Charlene. And you're doing it. And you're
Yeah.
doing it. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing because I said, I know Charlene is gonna interview me, but I really wanted to know more about her and her heart. So there's gonna be more discussions between the both of us.
Yes, it is.
And it's just getting started. It's just getting started.
Yes, it
And
is. So I want to go back to Miss Jeanette because you are so powerful. Can you tell me? So right now, currently, I want to know about your transition. Can you help me to understand your transition because you were in operations, right?
I was mostly in education.
Okay, so in
So
education.
yes,
Okay. Just tell
yes.
me your transition a little bit because I know now you're doing consulting, correct?
I'm a senior nursing consultant working
Ah,
full time with Stanford.
okay.
And yes, I'm supporting them with anything and everything nursing excellence from the magnet journey. I'm also an ANCCP TAP appraiser for the Transition to Practice program.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm working on that. Good question about my transition, and it's part of my healing journey, Charlene. It truly is. Um, I became a director initially at Stanford Children, um, immediately after my Caritas Coach program in 2017. And maybe during that time, it really opened up a lot of opportunities to me. The moment I looked more from within rather than just all the giving, I just started embracing the true authentic me, and the true authentic me that really wanted to share professionalism, excellence, and courage,
Mm.
to a lot within the organization. And then I transitioned to becoming the director of professional development and education at Cedars Sinai at the height of COVID. Um, and so I journeyed to Los Angeles with Dr. Anita Gerard, who became the CNO at that time at Cedars Sinai. And then just most recently, I had to do a lot of reflection as to where I'd like to journey, you know, my whole being, and to really trust my authentic self as to what I can offer. I know that for the longest time when I journeyed from being a CVICU nurse to being an educator and then being a program manager for practice, I knew that there's more that I can do beyond one wall of an organization.
Mm.
And I just need to take the courage to say, yes, Jeanette, you can do it. So I took a pause, March until April. And I said, I really wanted this to be part of my healing journey, and finished my book called Human Caring Through Healing Haiku, which is
Yes.
a mindful journaling book for nurses and healthcare providers. At the height of COVID, we were all affected as healthcare
Yes.
providers from within, and the hurt that we see. As
Yes.
a Filipino nurse, not only do I see it, happening and unfolding right in front of me in the chaos of pivoting every second, because the COVID updates were just constantly changing. There was a lot of
Yeah.
fear of the unknown. And there was just a lot of uncertainty and just suffering.
Yes.
As a Filipino nurse, a quarter of them, right now serving in the United States, not only are they affected, but I see them on my feeds, their extended family suffering from it, dying from
Yeah.
it. I hear, and has been so close. It's getting so close to home about people in depression and committing suicide. And I've had loved ones do that. And I know it's so hard as leaders, and I was non-clinical. We made our rounds and we think education is what nurses needed. No, they needed somebody to talk to.
Yes.
They needed some comfort food. They needed to just grieve and unpack, their feelings about it. No one at the time would enter a patient's room except a nurse. Can
Right.
you imagine that?
I know.
And it so happened as well in the 1980s when HIV happened.
Yes.
No one understood what it was, and only the nurses have no choice but to enter the patient room and give it caring and compassion. Our leadership huddles were just depressing and devastating during that time. And I started sharing my poetry.
Mm.
And then Dr. David Marshall, the chief nurse executive at Cedars Sinai, introduced me to haiku. And I attended Pamela Ressler's workshop on haiku. And then I started writing healing haikus as part of my healing journey, as part of my reflection. We were on the go every day during at the height of COVID. That
Yes.
I still wanted to reserve some time for reflection in the morning, but I have to be on the go as well, right? Because there's just so many things to do. So I started my day every morning with just imagery and doing the quick coherence because that one you can unpack in a minute. And after an image resonates with me, either I pull it from Canva or unsplash.com or to what I see online, I start writing haikus. And the haiku is just 5 syllables, 7 syllable, 5 syllable. And the modern haiku, you don't even have to be regimented like that. I started writing, and it gave me that good feeling to just re energize myself every day. And then when I felt that it has also a shared meaning with others and allow others to express themselves either within my organization, I started posting them in social media, and it actually generated quite a bit of good, positive energy and vibes, virtually to a lot of people.
That's awesome.
One in particular was Joe Tai, who is the author of The Florence Prescription. I've been following him for decades. I've been stalking him. I love his work on professional accountability. And I
Yes.
finally met him in February of 2022.
Oh, awesome.
And then in person at the ACNL conference, and he gave me $20. He said, Jeanette, you're going to get your book published. I said, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I am no publisher. I just love writing haikus. And oh my God, I have so many things to do. There's no time. There's no time, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know how to do this, but he kept on encouraging me. He kept on sending me books of encouragement. One of them was titled Self Limiting Beliefs.
Ooh.
Oh my God. And he started sending me haiku books and haiku journals. I said, oh my God. And then Dr. Marshall saw what Joe has given me $20. He also gave me another $20. Okay, good griff. I now have $40. What am I going to do with this? They said, we need a copy of your book. And then, so yeah, this February, I committed myself. I'm going to go and transition. I know I can do more and I can share more beyond the walls of one organization. And then, so I started finishing up the book and then got it published, in time for Nurses Month. So I think, Charlene, I am speaking from my heart to you as a Caritas soul sister. The moment is choosing you right now. You're going to get Venmo $20 because you're going to get your work published.
Oh my gosh.
You
That's
are. And I know you have a lot to share.
yes, I have hey, look, I have so many babies that I can't even carry them all. That is so powerful because oh my gosh. So can you remind me of his name that gave you the 20?
Joe Tai.
Joe Tai. That
Joe
is
Tai.
powerful.
He's the author of the Florence Prescription book. When
Yeah.
I started as a director first time, I really am about professionalism and excellence, and that's my core
Yeah.
values. I found his book very meaningful. I haven't met him yet, but I ordered books after books for all of my nurse educators and NPDs and unpacked the invisible architectural framework of the
Wow.
culture of organizations just to allow professionalism and taking ownership and taking accountability of all of our actions and what we do, for the betterment of our patients and outcomes. I followed him for decades, and when I finally met him,
So he was looking at your work, your haikus that you were
yes,
writing on your
yes,
social media.
that's right. And he included one of my haikus in his book, Stay Strong for Us, a book
Oh,
and a compilation of all of the professionals, healthcare professionals, and their sufferings and their experiences through COVID times. And then he also, reached out to me to add one more on gratitude to add to the Daisy Foundation book. And he added and
Oh my
featured
gosh, that's
my haiku.
wonderful.
I know.
That is
Oh,
wonderful. Well, I tell you what, I am not, you are so correct that I do have some books brewing that are going to come out this year. But, just like you're like stuck. Like sometimes you get stuck, you don't really know which way to go. I just know how to write. I just love writing. And that's all I can do. But then look at this. Now you're coming along and you're telling me, no, listen, sister, you are going
yes.
to do this.
You are. And just like how I spoke to Dr. Grisel Hernandez, she has this beautiful artwork, and I
Yes, she
know that she
does.
has a lot. I also talked to Lynn Wagner, and you have a lot of poetry, I told her. And I'm here to pay it forward because we have so much to share. We have so much aesthetics to share to humanity
Absolutely.
that people could connect with the work.
Well,
And
and I'm so
Sandy,
glad.
too.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
so glad though, because like even as I was reading your book, it's absolutely just beautiful and so
Thank
heartfelt. Like you
you.
could tell, you just really put your heart into it. And I too, when I started my program in 2010, I would get aesthetic expressions that would just download into me. So some of them I've actually allowed KP to use in our Caring Science Academy. So I've started compiling them all in a book because I met Dr. Paulina Van,
Yeah.
and she was
Charlene.
like, I mean, I was so blown away by listening to her poetry that I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Let me start putting my stuff down in a book. So, yes, that is another one of the ones that I have to get done. And I'm going to have plenty time to get it done now. So, thank you for the encouragement. I really appreciate that. Jeanette, I always like to, before we go any further, I really, really want you to speak to one of our sister nurses or healthcare professionals that are feeling stuck, that are feeling stuck in 2020, that have not dealt with their trauma. They haven't dealt with anything, but they feel stuck. Is there any words of encouragement that you can give our fellow healthcare workers or our nurses that are just in a dark place right now?
That's true. That has always been in my heart, Charlene, especially with this the Healing Haiku book that that I started crafting along with Dr. Jan Anderson is with me and you as Caritas coaches, we have that sense of self-awareness when we are in a bind and being stuck. And then we have a way of trying to come out of it beautiful, just like how you came out of it
Yeah,
with this meaningful podcast, just like how I came out of it with my journey of healing through creating this book. How we can get unstuck is really all from within. No amount of external forces can get us all unstuck but us. But you, the person from within. And when you're ready, you are ready. And when you're not, you're closed off.
yeah,
And I think both of us, as Caritas Soul Sisters, are here for a reason. We persist, we continue our work, we continue to share our authenticity, and we continue to be here to be our authentic self and listen with kindness and curiosity. When we start to listen to another person's journey and experience, just like how you're doing, And the book was created to allow people to share and to listen from within and to open their hearts from within.
Mm.
Then we're doing something to open up possibilities.
Yes.
We're doing something to open up possibilities. The right moment will choose you, as you said, when it is time to get unstuck.
Mm.
A lot of people have advised me that, for example, for my 16-year-old teenager, I choose to dedicate my time with her for the last year of her senior year. You know, she has been experiencing anxiety, a lot of expectation for herself. As a mom, you'd like everything to be beautiful and a perfect experience for her.
Right.
But she will have to journey on her own to get herself unstuck. And we are here to be our authentic self, to lead with courage and joy, and to listen with kindness and curiosity, and
Yes.
to be there for the other person, just to be there, and to embrace them and let them go through the phases. And some of those moms who would advise me who have had the teenager as well, I say, Jeanette, they're gonna come back to you
Yeah.
again one of these days, and some days. Just let it flow and let it be. Let it flow and let it be. I'm hoping with your work and my work that people learn to stop and pause and think and learn the courage to listen to their heart and what they truly
Yes.
needs.
Yes. That is very beautiful, and I really think that that piece of wisdom is so critical because in a busy world that's constantly we have noise all around us, and so for you to get quiet enough where you can actually hear yourself think is an amazing place to be. And it looks like your journal, as I was reading through some of it, it looks like your journal really helps to unpack. I mean, through the Caritas processes, unpack the different things. Like one of them that I focused on in particular is Caritas process number 5, and that's the forgiveness one. And so a lot of people struggle there, but to be able to take your book, your journal, and to journal every day about the different haiku that you put there, as well as the questions, is really profound. So that self-discovery that they'll find within doing the haiku journal would be pretty amazing.
That
So you
is
want to
so
tell
true.
us anything else about your book?
My goodness. So, one of those that I wanted to share with you, Charlene, is that exact journey that I went through around mindful practice. Because again, being unstuck will always start with you, you know, as a person, to open up your heart. I have a poem that I wrote that resonates to this, and I'm trying to look for it through this poetry that I have. But the poem is about mindful practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the mind doing that consistent exercise. It's just like physical exercise, you know.
Yes.
If we don't do it regularly, we will never be able to journey and open the possibilities of being self-aware.
Yeah.
So during our CCEP program, this is a story that leads to why this book is very important, and mindful reflection and daily mindful reflection is very important. You know, I was never into mindful meditation. I was never into that. during the Caritas Coach education program, we have that course where we have to do 5 days or 5 nights of mindful meditation. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fail this class. I don't. But I'm just like you, I'm religious too. I pray. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of practice that I do before I go to sleep.
Right.
But with this homework, I wrote a poem called I Am Enough.
I love it.
Um, and it's all about it's all about after the 5 days of mindful practice, it transformed and shifted my feeling of from numbness and emptiness to just a feeling of stillness and calmness. We don't have enough of that in our day.
Yeah, absolutely.
We say we don't have the time, but the time is what we choose for us and a space for us to give. And I thought the haiku and some daily micro practice, and when I spoke to Jane Anderson, is that let's give them space that if they want a whole structured 1 week, then they will stay in this page for a week. But if they feel they don't have the time, then maybe just a 1 minute of daily micro practice that would resonate to them. Or maybe a healing haiku, which like 30 seconds will resonate to them. Or even just one line or one sentence of a reflection will resonate to them. And that's a great start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the book, I also say make it your own experience. Just randomly open a book every day. And Joe Tai has taught me that. Randomly open a book. When you land on a page that resonates with you, anchor with that and make it your anchor for the day. And make
That's
it your
good.
own experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome. Wow. Oh my gosh. I could like literally talk to you forever because
Yes. We need another session, Charlene.
yeah, we have to do more because I am absolutely loving this connection right here, and I definitely think it's divine. And so, thank you so much, Jeanette, for coming on the podcast. I cannot leave without you giving my audience three wisdom gems that they could carry with them. That's as broad as I'm going to keep it. So, if I said, "What is Dr. Jeanette's top three?" Wisdom gems, what would you say to us for that?
My top three probably are the same as yours because you're my character soul sister. As you said, this is such a divine conversation. Number one is be authentic, be who you are.
Yes.
Prior to me becoming a Caritas coach, I was not comfortable with my own skin.
Yes.
I walk into a leadership meeting, I look different, I sound different, I am different.
Yes.
Even my ideas are different, and I was hesitant. Be your authentic self and love and embrace who you are. You have so much to offer. So much. So much of you that is so unique. And the story is your story to share. And the story that you have as the authentic you will resonate to others in a different way that will allow them to share their authentic self. That's my number one word of wisdom. My second word of wisdom, I think we have agreed through this podcast, leadership starts with you, but it's not about you.
Yes.
It always starts from within. And that means as soon as we recognize the power that we have from within, we go and step outside our horizon and we learn to be creative and innovate that
Yes.
benefits others, our patients, our community, and the entire humanity. And as a leader, we learn to listen with a lot of curiosity, because curiosity is the kindest thing that we can do.
Yeah.
And the last piece I think that is very important to me, and as I share to others, the legacy that I would want to leave in this world is to be an inspiration. And if we are an inspiration to others, and I always say, Charlene, if I can inspire one person in my life every day, that's my legacy.
Yes.
That's my legacy. And I always say that we surround ourselves with a community of our own tribe, of our own people, the people who will advocate for us in rooms that we are not in.
Yeah.
Because when that happens, we know that we have spread our love, our kindness, and we have already spread that to each person who advocates for us in these rooms because of who we are as a person and as an inspiration to others. That's all I have for
Oh,
you.
that's so good. That is completely enough. Thank you
Oh,
so much. And you know what? I definitely want you and Jan to come back and unpack some more of the book if you can. And I am sure me and you are going to be on here again chatting soon.
we will. We will for sure because I want to hear more about you. I want to hear more about your stories and we have
Yes.
such great connections.
Yes,
So
we do.
thank
So,
you.
yeah, thank you for being on the podcast, and I hope listeners you enjoy the show. I will make sure I put her bio in the description as well as a link where you can go purchase the book. So, thank you for listening.
Take care.
I want to thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of When the Moment Chooses You. I'm your host, Coach Charlene, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Each journey we've shared today is a reminder that when the moment chooses you, the possibilities are endless.